We now continue with Smurf.
All funky colors. Shapes that swing.
It's impossible.
This is the Eclectic Discussion Podcast.
It's another episode where did all my treasure go? Ratchet bitches, ratchet hoes, fuck them good, then let them go.
This is the EDP.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
They got a million toys at Toys R Us that she can play with.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
They got the best for so much less you really flip your head.
From bikes to trains to video games, it's the biggest toy store there is.
Gee whiz.
I don't want to grow up. Stevie, if I did, I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid.
More games, more toys, oh boy.
Be a Toys R Us kid.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading and whatever else the hell you're doing with this podcast. I'm Eclectic. We're talking about memories. We're always talking about memories on the show. 80s, growing up in the 80s, we're always talking about that on the show. The toy store. Now, of course, we have toy stores now. There's always been toy stores. But something about the 80s. Look, it's when I grew up. It was just different. It was the best of all worlds, and innocence and ignorance and experiments. Going to the toy store was like a treat. It wasn't like go and have fun whenever you wanted to, just show up. It was when your parents felt like it, you deserved it, or when you were somewhere close. And when someone had some money, you would go to little places with a toy section. Those didn't count. Your electric stores would have some toys. Radio Shack would have some toys. I mean, they did have Shockwave sound transformer anyway, or Shackwave anyway. You had a Woolworth maybe, had some toys in an aisle. You had Best. Now Best was great. Best was the best because the catalogs were unmatched. And that's another thing. The catalogs, when you had nothing, you had no money, and you could just thumb through catalogs that came in the mail and look at all the toys that's coming out, and especially the holiday joints. It's crazy. So you had JCPenney, you had Kmart, and you had Best. You had Sears. And those places will have the toys, or some toys. But I'm talking the main events. The main events. We had Hills. Hills is where the toys are. We had Children's Palace, which was everything.
There are certain toys children want more than anything. But in most stores, they're the toys that are hardest to get. If only there were one store you could count on to have those certain toys at low prices every day. Well, there is Children's Palace. The toys children want most are never out of reach when you come to Children's Palace and discover how much less toys can cost.
If you didn't have Children's Palace when you grew up where you grew up, I apologize. But Children's Palace, and of course Toys R Us, those were toy stores. I didn't have a FAL Schwartz or Child Wars or Kitty City and all of that. We didn't have that. But the main events, Hills, Children's Palace, Toys R Us. And this is before KB Toys. This is before then. KB Toys couldn't sniff prime Toys R Us and prime Children's Palace or Hills. So going to the real toy stores, like I know coming as a kid, so if you're thinking about it through a kid's eyes, those stores were huge. Like Children's Palace looked like, first it looks like a castle on the outside. And it was aisles on aisles, so many aisles. Like you would go in and have no idea where to start. Also, I had no idea where my parents were, what they did when I was in there. I have no vivid memories of parents with me in any of these stores until it was time for me to ask for money or ask for something. They might have had a lounge or a bar in there. They probably should have. You know, that would have been dope. Like, hey, let your kids go ahead, because it was the 80s and no one paid attention to the children anyway. So, but they should have had a lounge. I don't remember what they looked like once those doors opened. It was just find them when I wanted them to see something, you know, for later, holiday, birthday, or please buy this for me now. Other than that, it was an adventure. And you got to remember, we might have went to the toy store like quarterly. It felt. This is before you could actually play and try things out in the stores too. There were no display-friendly items or packaging. No place where you could actually play video games or sample them. You just looked, read the back of the packages. Reading the back of toys and video games was fun. It's weird, but I promise you, it was fun. It was also when you could see what else was coming out. This was before you had to pull the tickets for the expensive games and go up to the front and let them unlock it for you, and because all you weirdos were stealing stuff. That's what happened. Also, the games and the game systems weren't that expensive back in the day. Like the 2600, the Atari 2600 was $140 when it dropped in '81.
The fun is back, oh yes siree. It's the 2600 from Atari. It's the video system with classics galore, from Space Invaders to cars that roar. A real hip joystick controls the screen. Solaris is hot and Midnight Magic's mean. And one more thing, it's got a special low price, under $50. $50? Now isn't that nice? The fun is back, oh yes siree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
The NES in '89 was like $150, and they didn't gouge you like they do for games. Atari games were like $20 to $25 a piece. You had a hundo, you go get 4 games and go enjoy yourself. Also, you would just put them in and play. You didn't have to download and wait for a server and wait for a connection and wait. Just play your game. Play the game you bought. But yeah, it was like $20, $25. And the NES joints was like 30. Some went up to like 50. Maybe Zelda was like 50 or 60. But who cares about any of that? We're talking prime G.I. Joe time, when each figure was like $3.50. Bikes were under 100. The bikes had their own section, and you couldn't ride them. You wasn't riding around the toy store on your bike. You could look at them. You could look at the display. Maybe someone would take one down so you could sit on it. Make sure that your feet could touch or something. But you weren't cruising through Toys R Us on your bike. Not back then. But all of the bikes, you had the Huffies and the Mongooses, the Sigmas. The Sigmas were crazy. The Stu Thompson, the Rally joints. I do have a bike episode, so you can go and listen to that, by the way. Check that out. But the toy store, walking through those aisles and picking up something new or seeing stuff that was just on the commercial. When you saw a commercial and you're like, yo, that's crazy. And then you went to the store and actually saw it and held it. It was a different level. We were easily pleased. Going to see the Mad Balls for the first time, all the Nerf stuff, the Zebra guns. The Zebra guns were incredible. I also have a Toy Guns episode. Please go back and listen to that. You can search for all of this. Zebra guns. Love those. But seeing like the Thundercats and the Silverhawks and all the vehicles and the play sets for G.I. Joe and stuff. Seeing, you know what? I never saw the aircraft carrier. Never saw it. Never saw it. To this day, I haven't seen one in real life. But I wanted it. I offered up to my parents, if you buy me the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, because it was 6 feet long, something like that. I said, I said this. I said, you can take my bed. I'll sleep on it. I said, just give me the aircraft carrier. That's all I wanted. But alas, but you would see all of those things for the board games, the board game aisles. It was board games forever. This is back when like your family would play board games with you. Go get your Light Bright and your Payday. I think I have a board game episode too. You should find it. Even if I don't, if you can't find it, let me know and then I'll make one. Because Payday was crazy. I think we have a board game draft. I don't know. Anyway. But the wall of games for Atari was crazy. This was back when you would buy a game or a toy based solely on the packaging, on what it looked like on the front. Like, especially the video games. We didn't know what none of that stuff was or what it did. It just had to look cool. And for that matter, the instructions were for shit. We just played and you figured it out. That's what made shit so dope. You would get something and just play and be like, oh, well, especially like an Atari game. He was like, well, that didn't work, so I'll try this. Oh, that worked. And I still don't know the real rules to Yar's Revenge, but I figured out how to make some stuff blow up. And then because you would trade games, and then you would get a game. What's this game? I don't know. And you put it in, and you would just figure it out. Oh, what a time. There was no, let me go on YouTube and watch somebody play or call a hotline. This is before Nintendo Power. We didn't know all of that fucking Nintendo extra shit. We was just jumping around and then hit something and then told everybody and it got circulated. Then Game Master came out. It was the whole thing. But anyway, we would buy stuff just because it looked cool. Functionality, I don't know. IP, who cares? But Children's Palace. They had a panda for the mascot, I think. I think it was a panda. And Toys R Us obviously had the giraffe, Jeffrey. What a time. Oh, the board game aisle, the G.I. Joe aisle, the Transformers display. The Transformers display, that aisle, that half of aisle was bonkers. Like when you went in and saw all the boxes, it was the same brand, the same like color packaging, and you just see all the stuff that you saw on TV or the cartoons that you can't have because one, they're expensive and you're broke and you're 6. So, but and then like we would go to the toy store and the parents had the nerve to say, you get one thing. What do you mean I get one thing? One, look at all this shit in here. What do you mean I can only get one thing? I want everything in here. 2, them shits was under $5. You could have had a 20 on you and fucking got busy. What do you mean I can only have one thing? Get a 20 and give me like 5 Joes. What are you talking about? I can only get one thing. I hate it here is the thought. But also, all right, if I can only get one thing, let me get that. But the Hot Wheels and the other joint, the Matchbox, that was the other die-cast cars. The model cars, we used to put together our toys. I remember I got a Dukes of Hazzard model car. I put that together. Damn, I didn't think about that sticker on the hood. On the roof. Well, at the time, it wasn't problematic. But anyway, I also had a Dukes of Hazzard fucking racetrack. I think they're gonna take my card. Anyway, we put the toys together. I also had I remember getting a Robotech joint because of the package. The package looked dope. The robot looked crazy. I didn't know that I was gonna have to put it together, assemble it, and paint it. I didn't even get stickers. Obviously, by the way, never painted it. It was the ghost version. It was just a white fucking. I didn't even play with it. I was so disgusted. But, that's what happens. Also, though, when you got the G.I. Joe, like, vehicles with the stickers, you never put them on right anyway. It kind of, because it was no guide. It was just like, nah, put them on the wing. Look at the picture. Like, oh, and it would be crooked. Look, start peeling off. Nothing was the way it was supposed to be. And then, when you saw Voltron for the first time, because those were metal. Those were metal, and then you put them together for the robot. It was so much to do. And the toy store that I never saw the girl side. To this day, I have never seen like a Cabbage Patch doll in the package in person, or a Barbie. I don't know. I knew it was in there somewhere. It was so much stuff on the real men's side, on the men's section, that no reason to go over there. Yeah, I was over there with like the GoBots and the Shogun Warriors. They didn't back then. They didn't even have candy or snacks in the toy stores back then. It was just straight toys. What a time when you get your stuff and you didn't open it on the ride home. You wait till you got home in your room in your sanctuary, and then you open it up and play all night and put it on the pillow. You had to go to sleep, and then you had to show off to everybody outside. Either tell them about it or go outside and show everybody your stuff, or lie about it like I did with Soundwave. Go listen to the Soundwave story episode. But you had to show off, and depending on who you were, you try not to get it stolen, try not to get your ass beat. Two ways. Try not to get beat up and they take your toy, and you better not come home without your toy, because they just spent $3 on your fucking. But nah, that was your ass if you went home without your new toy. You lie and say, nah, I never take it out. It's in the room somewhere, and just hope they don't say, well, go get it, or hope they just got shitty memories and you just go back, go in your room and give them one of your old toys. Like, hey, this was the one. They're like, oh, all right. I guess that's the right one. You don't want no savvy parent like, nah, that's Scarlet. I bought you Lady J. You're like, oh, fuck. Stop paying attention to my life. Get out of my life. But just thinking of all the options and the things that they were there to play with, like light brights and rainbow brights and all the brights, glowworms and Teddy Ruxpin. You take Teddy Ruxpin and put the NWA tape in his stomach. The Star Wars display, all the Star Wars joints that you overlook now, and now they're worth $7 million. The He-Man displays, the He-Man stuff, the Masters of the Universe stuff was great because the figures were so much bigger than everything else, than all the G.I. Joes and stuff. And so the packaging was, you went right to it. You was like, oh, I need Buzz Off and Stinkor. I need them. I gotta have them. Castle Grayskull. I need it. Snake Mountain. Need it. And this is also when you would get the toy. You would get the toy, you get the figure, and you come home with it, and it had the fold-out poster that had the whole toy line on it. Shit that you can't have. Shit that never even came out. Like, you open it like, yeah, that never came out. But you wanted it all. What a time. Like, in the toy store, I don't even remember workers. I don't remember. I would really be in my own world until I needed someone to pull something out or down or money. I'd find somebody. But I don't remember what I remember the only reason I remember the blue vest at Toys R Us is because I worked at a Toys R Us. But when I was a kid, I don't know the colors. I am just there for the toys. Oh, man. And there were times where I was just happy to be in there and look at stuff. Like, I didn't have to have, hey, we can't get, just let me be in here. Just saying you're happy just to be in the toy store is crazy. And then they took the toy stores just like they took the Saturday morning cartoons. Like, yeah, you got stuff now, but it's not the same. It's no one is speaking of the joy and wonderment about the toy stores now. Even KB, when KB was cool, but it wasn't, it wasn't. Come on. Anyway, look, I'm sure that the stuff that I didn't mention, didn't remember, you might have some toy store memories. Let's talk about them. Favorite item, thing you never got, horror stories, things that you got, and as soon as you walked out, you broke it. I don't know, whatever it is. We can talk about it on Instagram or Twitter or fucking I don't know, some other bullshit. Mi Gente, Black Planet. Look, I'm out of here. Later. Oh, appreciation.
With your wrinkled pussy, I can't be your lover.